Dune Vaughn rode over to the widow Kate Farr's homestead at 9 in the morning on a Tuesday in May, with the plain, honest, folded county deed in his coat pocket, and said, at Kate's porch step, "Kate, I need to marry someone before the 15th of June, or I lose the ranch." Kate Farr, 36, in a plain gray day dress with an apron and a small silver locket at her collar, set the plain, honest, small ledger she had been keeping at the plank table down. She said, "Dune, come in. Sit at the plank table. Explain." Dune sat. He set the deed on the plank table. He said, "Kate, my father Silas Vaughn filed the plain, honest, small ranch deed in 1868. Silas had a plain, honest, small provision, written into the deed by a Denver lawyer, for reasons of his own. The provision states that upon the death of the deed's original registered holder, the ranch passes to the deed's named heir, upon the plain, honest condition that the heir be married, or file a plain, honest, small marriage certificate at the county register within 6 months of the death. My father died on the 16th of December of last year. 6 months from the 16th of December is the 16th of June of this year. I have 1 day of grace, which is the 15th. If I do not file a plain, honest, small marriage certificate at the Broken Ridge County Register by 9 o'clock on the 15th of June, the ranch passes, plainly, to my father's plain, honest, small brother, Uncle Roland in Illinois, who has never once seen the ranch, and would sell it inside the fortnight to the plain, honest first cattle syndicate offer." Kate Farr said, "Dune Vaughn, why did your father write that provision?" Dune said, "Because my father wanted me married by the age of 32. I am 32. My father died at 64. I have been unmarried since my Ellen died at 29 of a lung sickness in 82. My father knew I would not, on my own honest initiative, remarry. He believed a plain, honest ranch required a plain, honest household. He wrote the provision at the plain, honest suggestion of the Denver lawyer. He did not tell me at the plank table. I discovered it at the county register in January when I filed the plain, honest, small heir's paperwork after his funeral. I have been thinking about it since January." Kate said, "Dune, Uncle Roland." Dune said, "Uncle Roland." Kate said, "You are asking me to marry you." Dune said, "Kate, yes, I would like to marry you, in a plain, honest, small marriage of paperwork. I would ask for 1 calendar year. During that year my ranch would be, plainly, safe from Uncle Roland. During that year we would each keep our own homesteads. During that year you would be a plain, honest, small joint tenant of the Vaughn Ranch, and I would be, in return, a plain, honest, small joint tenant of your Farr homestead. At the end of the year we would jointly file plain, honest, small papers at the county register to dissolve the joint tenancies and dissolve the marriage. The plain, honest, small provision would be, by then, plainly satisfied. Uncle Roland would have no plain, honest claim. That is the plain, honest arrangement." Kate Farr looked at Dune Vaughn across her own plank table. She said, "Dune." Dune said, "Yes." She said, "I have been a widow of Merritt Farr 4 years since Merritt died in the mine. I have run this plain, honest, small homestead alone. I have not, in 4 years, considered marrying a plain, honest, small marriage of paperwork, or a plain, honest, small marriage of anything else. I would ask, why me?" Dune said, "Kate, I asked myself the same question. I asked it for 4 months at my plank table. The plain, honest, small answer I kept coming back to was that you are the plainest, honest, small person of my acquaintance, and the only plain, honest, small person I would sit across from in a plain, honest, small courthouse, and know plainly that neither of us would try to press against the arrangement. I would ask for a plain, honest, small marriage in law. I would not press against it. I would ask you to trust me on that. That is my plain, honest, small answer." Kate Farr said, "Dune." Dune said, "Yes." She said, "I accept. I would ask a plain, honest, small addition. Please permit me to put $10 of my own coin into the Vaughn Ranch's plain, honest, small kitchen account each month for the year, so that I am, plainly, a plain, honest, small joint tenant in fact as well as law. I do not wish to hold the plain, honest, small provision satisfied on paper only. That is my plain, honest, small addition." Dune said, "Kate, that is fair." Kate said, "Then we are agreed. Please write to Judge Callis of the County Register, asking for a plain, honest, small courthouse marriage on Wednesday of next week. We should not delay. Dune wrote the letter that afternoon. Judge Callis married Dune Vaughn and Kate Farr in the small side chamber of the Broken Ridge Courthouse at 10 o'clock on Wednesday of the following week. Old Sylvan, Dune's foreman, stood witness for Dune. Widow Ansel, Kate's nearest neighbor, stood witness for Kate. Judge Callis, who had known Silas Vaughn for 30 years, and had, at the plank table of the Vaughn Ranch on several plain, honest occasions, discussed the plain, honest, small provision with Silas over coffee, married the couple with plain, honest, small satisfaction. He said, at the ceremony's end, Dune, Kate, your father Silas would be pleased. He wanted plainly for his son to be a plain, honest man, of a plain, honest household. Whether the household lasts a year or longer is your business. He wanted the plain, honest year at minimum, and he has, plainly, arranged for it. Dune said, Sir. Kate said, Sir. Judge Callis said, Do not thank me. Please, at the end of the plain, honest year, sit at my plank table over Sunday coffee, and tell me plainly whether the plain, honest arrangement worked. Dune said, Yes, sir. Kate kept her own homestead. Dune kept his own ranch. Kate paid her plain, honest $10 a month into the Vaughn Ranch kitchen account on the first Sunday of each month. Dune rode over to Kate's homestead on the second Sunday of each month with a plain, honest, small basket of the Vaughn Ranch's peach preserves as a plain, honest, small joint tenancy dividend. They ate supper together at one plank table or the other on the third Sunday of each month. They discussed, at those suppers, the plain, honest, small business of the two properties, the wheat yield, the fence lines, the plain, honest, small mercantile arithmetic, the county road fund, the plain, honest, small county papers, plain, honest, small editorial, on the county judge's plain, honest, small opinions. They did not, in June, July, August, or September, discuss the plain, honest, small provision. In October, at the third Sunday supper, Kate said, Dune. Dune said, Kate. She said, May I say a plain thing? He said, Please. She said, I did not, in June, believe I could consider the plainer conversation. I would not have accepted the plain, honest, small marriage of paperwork if I had. I am, at supper on the third Sunday of October, considering it. I would like you to know, I am considering it. I am not pressing. I am telling you plainly at your own plank table. Dune Vaughn set his fork down. He said, Kate. She said, Yes. He said, I have been considering the plainer conversation since the third Sunday of July. I did not press because the plain, honest arrangement was for a plain, honest, small year, and I would not press against my own honest offer to you. I am not pressing now. I am telling you plainly. Would you consider, at the third Sunday supper in November, extending the plain, honest, small arrangement past the plain, honest, small year? Kate Farr said, I would consider it now. Dune said, Kate. She said, Yes. He said, I would like to make it a plainer, honester conversation. Kate said, Please. Dune said, I have been in love with you since the second Sunday of July, when I brought the plain, honest, small basket of peach preserves to your porch step, and you were mending a plain, honest, small child's dress on the porch step for the plain, honest, small niece of the widow Ansel, and you set the mending down and said plainly, Dune, sit, I have coffee. I have been holding it since. I am not holding it now. I would like the plain, honest, small arrangement to become a plain, honest, small marriage, in the plainer sense, that Judge Callis's church would recognize plainly. I would like it to become that starting tonight if you would consider it, or on the anniversary of the courthouse if you would rather wait, or at any plain, honest, small date between. I am asking. Please answer at your leisure. Kate Farr said, Dune Vaughn. Dune said, Yes. Kate said yes to the plain, honest, small marriage, in the plainer sense. Yes tonight. Yes to Judge Callis's plain, honest, small church at the plain, honest, small anniversary in June. Yes to all of it. I have been in love with you since the second Sunday of July also. I did not know I had been until the second Sunday of August when you did not come, because you had ridden to Denver for cattle sales, and I was plainly cross about the empty porch step. That was when I knew. Dune Vaughn laughed once. He said, "Kate, you were plainly cross about an empty porch step." Kate said, "I was." Dune said, "Good." The circuit preacher married Dune Vaughn and Kate Farr in Judge Callis's plain, honest, small Presbyterian church on the anniversary of their courthouse marriage. Old Sylvan stood witness for Dune. Widow Ansel stood witness for Kate. Judge Callis attended as a plain, honest, small guest and told the preacher afterward, at the plank supper table, "Preacher, the plain, honest, small provision worked." The preacher said, "Sir, it appears to have." 2 years on a warm September evening at the Vaughn Ranch, Kate Vaughn sat on the porch step with Dune beside her and their small son Silas, named for Dune's late father, asleep against her chest. Kate had, in the intervening months, sold the Farr homestead to a plain, honest, small young widow of Broken Ridge who had needed a plain, honest, small place, and had, plainly, been at the plain, honest right corner of the mercantile counter on the plain, honest right afternoon of the plain, honest right week. Kate had used the plain, honest, small proceeds to add a small, honest orchard row to the Vaughn Ranch and had, in June, planted the plain, honest, small first tree. Dune Vaughn said, "Kate." Kate said, "Dune." He said, "Uncle Roland wrote today." Kate said, "What?" Dune said, "He congratulated us plainly on the plain, honest, small birth of Silas. He asked whether the plain, honest, small provision he had heard about at his church in Illinois had indeed been the plain, honest, small mechanism by which the plain, honest, small marriage had been arranged. I wrote him back plainly, 'Yes.' He wrote back to my letter with a plain, honest, small paragraph, informing me that he had, at his own plain, honest, small plank table in Illinois, in 1868, at Silas's private request, ridden to Denver himself to obtain the plain, honest, small Denver lawyer for Silas, because Silas had wanted the plain, honest, small provision drafted by the plainest, honest, small Denver lawyer available. Uncle Roland is, plainly, a plain, honest man. I did not know this. I have been unfair to him in my private opinions since January. I have written him back a plain, honest, small paragraph of plain, honest, small apology." Kate said, "Good." Dune said, "He sent, in a plain, honest, small enclosure, a plain, honest, small silver rattle for Silas." Kate said, "Please write him back a plain, honest, small thank you paragraph in the return post." Dune said, "I have." Kate kissed her husband's temple. The pasture went to gold. Baby Silas dreamed. And Kate Farr Vaughn, who had set a plain, honest, small ledger down at her own plank table at 9 in the morning on a Tuesday in May, because a plain, honest, small neighbor rancher of 32 had ridden over with a plain, honest, folded county deed in his coat pocket, put her cheek against her husband's shoulder, and understood that the good, slow country had, in its good, slow way, arranged a plain, honest, small provision in a plain, honest, small Denver-drafted 1868 ranch deed, and had, on the strength of one plain, honest, small courthouse Wednesday and one plain, honest, small joint tenancy dividend of peach preserves on the second Sunday of each month, given her back not just the plain, honest, small Farr homestead, but the whole rest of a plain, honest, small household under the Vaughn Ranch's plain, honest, small orchard row, that no plain, honest, small 4-year widowhood could, or would, or should, in her own plainer, honest, small opinion, have arranged. And so it had.